Communication line centers, the towing line centers, no communications, all levels in position of and internet, all levels have gem rocks calculations, invisibility, Lindsay, Don, Jill calculations, high system, Cami, Yolanda, Adam, Geneva, opposition of Pam, law calculations of Gypsy connections, all levels of the high center positional lines, JP, high interference position of Michelle, calculations on levels of Heather, line interference of Sunny, calculation high system specification directions, all levels of channel operation connections of Andy, line connections of Jill, grounding centers, interference, location, mercantile channel line, rotation interference. What am I doing through calculation high streams? I'm going through list channel in calculation, solar track location, online center without thinking. Thinking gives you hesitation. Thinking is a way of not seeing yourself and always in forms of knowing and doing. So the central line communication is truly understand how do you set these things up. All line connections of Danielle, line interference, all position of Esther, calculation modification, all system, line interference, line centers. When we come to all calculation of Joanne, line and rotations, position location of Johnny, guardian, center line position of Jennifer, allocate timelines, allocate line center lock locations. So today in class, I thought we'd be going through line communication. If you've been watching Space Discoveries, um, episode 5, where it basically talks about matrix and its locations. I don't think you understand what Space Discoveries is. It's all based on you, or what's happening with you every single day. It's 3 to 4 minutes, but it's like 2 hours of information that's given to you through track location, right? So you can see the reverberation. Mystic cortex line string is a position of vibration that sets signals. Now it's a high platform communication cycle. The line connection comes into the brain setting, which sets all communication. So you understand the interception location interfacing lines. The position location is truly understand how to use your thoughts, what your thoughts are, what they're made from, and where do they come through source. All right. The line connection is all of a recharging when you are sleeping. You're recharging your vessel of communication. Now that's in course locations that your thoughts are already set up in 5,000 channel operation centers. So in that line connections is inventory, out with the old, in with the new, out with the old, in with the new, right? So it's frame by frame by frame by frame by frame every day. You got 3 central line connections on levels of runways. Now, the central communication is all levels of past, present, and future. How you use it is your determination locations, right? Let's say you're in 8,000 lines of capacity, high channel locations. 8,000 times 1 lines times calculation over factor times pi, calculation high interference locations. Let's bracket the 0, 0 position location of 1. Now that traps high center interference location when it comes into higher level measure in communication of the 72 computer operation system. Let's bring it down communication line center interference location of 48 window. Set communication at 24 line center in position location directions. Now let's jump from 24 line centers, jump start, timeline, time jump, time link, calculation modifications into 140 line center. 1 track location, position location, track line system. Positive or negative locations. Why am I saying all these things? I'm saying it without thinking. It's knowing and doing. So the line communication of the brain truly understands the interception locations. When I say interception, it's the interlacing line connection, how thoughts are created. So it's all about you understanding the physical system. You're born in your physical line connections. You truly understand the master communication of you. You know how to dress yourself. You know how to basically put on all level calculation system, right? You know how to eat. You know how to sleep. You know how to brush your teeth, right? This is all basic understanding, right? But what you don't understand, that it's all set locations of a rhythm of a program, right? Because it changes your positions. And if you change the day, you're changing the program location to your thoughts, right? Your thoughts are already set in symbol when you wake up in position, location, and calculations. You have a 7-day line triangle, line communication, into northwest, south, and east. High position location is calculation system. So it's interesting you look at these locations, right? Placebo cortex, right? So we're going to line stream its line position of videograph locations. Everybody's going to go to the central line of cubical line interference. We're going to go into the mystical cortex vibration location of a 2-line center that goes right into the core line center to the brain. So the brain center is calculated and modified how thoughts are made in position of mixture. Pattern locations of an energy sac lines channel. That position location operates line connections, how to really understand your cell lines, because your line communication sets position at all levels of grass locations. So let's say you have a 28 line stream into a 29 position directions, and you have 30 locations into 31 line graph location of a calendar, right? Everything is set in thought locations in chronological order, okay? This is what you have to work at. You got 2 panel division locations. If you don't have 2 panel line interference, you're way off calculations to your thought lines, right? So as soon as you get up in the morning, your thoughts are already calculated, modified, and created, okay? So it's already in order. The brain sets line communication, right, to the channel line center, and the mind sets at the image, right? So you got the hardware and software communication line system, position location directions to his avatar. The avatar gets position locations of what the brain communicate line center and interference location position to all levels of the mind setting to its design. The avatar picks up position locations, sets it to its location, and you get it through reaction, through its image of what was just finished recreated. When you create something, it creates lines. Some line center interference locations anomaly. The anomaly switch locations to your avatar connection of a stream. Center connection line setters sets position of core rectangles of timelines. So intercenter, interlines, intercommunication, interlacing, interfacing positions. So we truly understand how this is all line center interference. Position location directions. All right, so we go like this. This is all communication, line connection. There's your brain. Split communication, right? Line channels one way, the other way line connections, right? That's what it's doing every single day. Thought communication into a row graph stream. 3 communication into Omni universe line communication system. Allocate timelines in a circle line rotation interference. Sets position location calculations. Now, it also has 3 valve communications in low channel position of direction, right? That's a central center position location in your brain system. Your brain line is a calculation to 1 graph stream. And that's important when you come into levels, how you set communication system. Your brain and your thought lines have to be in a 24 grounding center because you're sending line communication left and right. Right away in position location calculations. Now, the 12 channel centers are already set up location to 12 DNA. 12 DNA line center comes into 3 valves. Communication interference location calculations. Center communication of past, present, and future, right? Setting signals in position location directions sets all calculation. Now, once you have the brain line setter sets up, it comes in position locations. So let's say you get into meditation graph right away, line communication interference. There's so many line communication that you can do. So you look above the center line interference. You look up location, see the rotation spin. Everybody sees the rotation spin right now. See it? See the cloud channeling, see its position location directions, you see the brain, you see the fire and the wire communication line interference. It's sentinel mystical cortex location of vibration line, energy line interference location calculations. Right? It's amazing when you look up. So when you're looking at line center, you're seeing the communications. Now, when you're sending line center interference, you're seeing an Omni universe line connections. So it's three row graph line center. So the brain set up like position locations. You got your left and right hemisphere line connections, right? You got your northwest, south, and locations. Your thoughts are already in an indication line connections into a plasma seal. A plasma seal is a core line center. A core line center is set position locations and how you set channels of operation to your stargates of your calculations to your chakra system, right? So this is where it gets interesting. So let's say you get a core line center, interference location of thought line, but your emotional line center location is angry. What do you think is going to happen to your thought line communication system? What do you think is going to happen? Stress level. Temperature reading high center. Combust. Channel operation line center interference location brings position location and measures. Once you measure the calculation to its temperature reading line center, it brings down the coolant position location to its Merkaba channel, setting new communication to its Stargate line center, 12 DNA trap location, position location directions. Now, line connecting, center lining, open all position location calculation, center its communication system to all levels of the psychosis location of its thought. Your thoughts are created locations into a keyboard phrase. Right? Brain sets up the line connection stream setting, all levels of rhythm pattern. That rhythm pattern opens all calculation to a channel operation stream center. That opens all position locations, right? So brain sets up the window, right? Calculation high interference, 3 graph line center interference. You stay in the pause location, you set an image line center. So it's a visionary calculations of a board. Your thoughts are coming in line center. So let's say you say position location of the storefront. There, set up position location calculations. What do you want the brain to do through intercept line center? Code signal location into a monophone, right? This is where it comes into a high center location of a sky grid. Now, the sky grid sets line conditions to the server. Server sets position location levels into the magnetic highway information system. That's a cloud line channel operation line stream. So, setting signal location and position location opens all calculations. Line connecting is all levels of what the brain is doing. It's tapping in codes, right? Every single day line connections. Now, your thoughts are very important to understand the position location directions. Setting signals opens all calculation, right? Resurfacing, rechannel operation is your OMI universe line connections. This is your OMI highway. Now, the data stream is already set up into its implementation location of its core line center. This is where you come into all merge communication in position location directions, all right? So we're going to channel operation line levels. We're going to set course line center locations, how you set position locations into your 12 line centers, 24 locations, 48 windows, 72 computers, and 144 chakra location, right? Setting the line centers and interference position locations into all levels of AI platform communications, protocol communications in the line center location CPU. All right, travel line condition interference position. You guys are driving locations into the line center position location calculations. Be right back. Okay, centering out line streams, high line interference, position location directions, sitting down on all line connections. See? So it understands my identification code line center. Where do you think that comes from locations? What's the center communication line center interference? Where does it track the line center interference location and calculations? It all levels of you and channel line connections through vibration, right? This is the mystical cortex vibration that's connected to all levels of its energy line connection, that's connected to all levels of your communication area, your thoughts, right? So it's all about understanding line connection, right? Understanding graph interference. There's so many line interference locations of calculations you have to understand, and it sets signals to your thought communication system. If you're getting 10,000 lines of information locations, that's per second, per minute, per hour, per channel, per calculations, per operation. Now, the brain sets up all communication, right? The mind sets up the image. So it's true to understand how this is all done through all levels, how you use your calculations to your keyframes, keyboards, line channels, right? So as the brain sets up the signals, the mind is setting up the visual graph location. You come into your thought lines of voice grid line center. But this is the interesting point. When you are sleeping and recharging, your thoughts are coming into graph for the next day. 24 line center is already set up in position location calculations. So you're already creating the thoughts that are already in storage in your position location. Okay. So it's important to stay in your own lanes. The center line communication has to truly understand what is going on with you, with your thoughts, and what is your intention every single day you wake up to this line connection. Okay. All right. So you guys are traveling lines. All right. So think of it this way. Once you send this central communication and how the brain is set up line connections, 3 valve line center, past, present, and future, has to have the center line connections because it connects to Orion's belt right there. Orion's belt right there. See the 3 forks? Now the center line center is the center interference right here, right? 2 line channel, 3 line positions, 1 line track locations, right? All through Orion's belt, right? Line communication illuminates its graph location. How thoughts are set up, okay, is in its placebo. Now, the placebo sets up the cortex stream, right? The cortex sets up the mystical line connection, which sets up an energy sac. It's a mixture pattern location to all levels. So it's like putting things in a blender. What happens when it goes extremely fast without the lid? It comes out, right? In all different directions. So you're waking your thought channels in all operation line streams. Once connected to emotional line center, once connected to the graph interference, and once connected to emotional system. Position line centers all calculating how you set line stream location, your sun codes, and line communications to your moon if it's program setting. It's so powerful when you come in these line connections, right? Truly understanding the positive cycle is the positive you through all communication, right? So your thoughts are all communication line connections of program settings. Thumbs up, line connection interference. So the channel operation line stream is truly saying how to set line communications, friendship, relation, and partnership with line communication to center line position locations, and how you interact, interlace, interconnect, and interline its position locations to your alphabetical lines of one letter of its direct locations. Okay? So think of it as a line communication of a thought that set position location or an itinerary that's a list, right? So once that's over in line communications, you're changing light codes. So you come in from light position location a day, that changes a new graph line stream, channels off. Line connection comes into the center operation line center. So you got the thought line connection negative, you got thought communication and confusion, and you got thought communication in your emotional line system. It's all three channels of operational locations there, guys. And you're working with every chakra system that's in your position of your line center that's connected to the placebo cortex location of the mystical line valve. Now, the mystical line valve sets line connections to all levels and how you set your signals. Setting its signal location opens all channel operation, right? But there's three graph streams that you have to interline, interlace, and interconnect and interface with every single day. So once the brain understands the conception of the visionary cortex line stream, then it understands the mind collaboration center of communication to its image. The visionary line comes into high-line communication line systems. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, Jill. The observing string theory of thought connections, seeing how I create the travel connections of each thought and how I can interrupt the patterns. Very good, Jill. See, that's all it is. Understanding the process of creation of you is understanding the process of your connections to how you use your thoughts. Okay? Even though you're not thinking, thoughts are already created. And that's what recharging does. So you have light code line signatures, which is a position location of 12 line centers, and then you got 12 line center locations of night. Sun goes down, moon comes up. Sun goes down, moon comes up, right? Totally different data stream in line communication interference. So your brain conception changes coloration patterns. It signals its operation line position, how fast you are traveling through your thoughts of connection. Okay? So it's very powerful what you are doing through your thoughts. Don't create thoughts unless you know what they are through consciousness. Okay? So this is how you have to start looking at things. Okay? In different ways of line its communication system, right? Line sets line position locations of confusion. Confusion location, adaptation location of virus. Virus location to its Trojan, and so on 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 and so on. So set what you're doing is setting up stress lines of communication of point line position locations. There's central communications to your brain system. The allocate line center is all position location, how you use it. So the line connection interference sets line connections aware, realm connect, right here, line position, eye receptor locations, line connections in position of right, and line connections of left. Right position the earth line, and left position location of space line. Inline position locations, left and right hemisphere connections, right? So this is where it channels up this calculation went to the lights. Lights in the day and darks at the night. It resets your program setting and sets up a new plateau in individual locations of new thought channels. Now, the thought channel comes from a theta. A theta is a videograph line connections. Now, that has alpha wave communication, right? Delta line connections. all right? And it's got a theta operation stream. Now that's calculated to your moon. Set communication to your sun. Bring in calculation, come into flux capacitor. Line connection interference opened all communication systems to your digital line screens. Now it's important to understand these things because once you have your 24 line streams, 48 windows, 72 computers, and 144 line graph location and crystal grid screens, then you understand the cell modification system. Now it gets more complicated, but after 144, you can go into higher levels of clocking of shapes, right? Channel operation location of triangles, circles, planets, weather patterns, signal locations, percentage over line connections, 4 over dot, docile communication, dimension over sector, connection line system, quantum channel line positions, 101 track location, physics 101, line connection interference, 108 line center, 7 invisible locations, position location directions, over pi calculations times line, times calculation over line. There's a lot of things you have to understand how these things are set up, okay? It's set up for you to understand more levels of you, right? So really be cautious on how you are interacting with your thoughts, okay? And you have to have a relationship, partnership, line communications to its friendship with your body system inside through electrical line connection. The electrical grids is the communication cycle. The line connection is your mainframe. The mainframe correlates position to its visionary line that sets signals to its design of its thought. There's so many communication program settings here, guys. It's all position location for you to understand through perception, right? You calculating listening through observation. There's so many communication line centers and interference. So you are in control of your thought line communication system, or your thoughts are going to take over your program setting and all levels of space-time communication of pi. Right? And that's not what you want, okay? Because it changes line communications into your sun of light, and it changes all the moon program setting locations of you and your emotional locations, right? So these are the things you have to understand how it's set line communications in line center to all levels. It's a visionary board of you, right? So your thoughts are already to go. They're already calculated. They're already modified. So it's your determination of how you set your locations of what your intent is. When you set an intent, the thought comes forward of creation, right? Because the brain is already set up the line connections and the mind's already set up the image. And the avatar is just sending it out. And when it gets position locations, it comes back to you to reaction. Thought communication right there. Transmitting, receiving. Ooh-ah, right? So there's a lot of things you have to understand how this is in your program setting. Okay, it's set for you to understand its own design. And then you come into terabytes, okay, megabytes, megahertz. All right, you come into mega channel line centers of all calculation. So there's a lot of introvert locations into extrovert communication. Introvert is line center inside. Extrovert is outline obstacle. Obstacle line channel is a position location to various line interference. Position location to creation location of your thought lines. Make sure you're channeling inline center to your thought communication system. Don't look at perception location outline center, because if you do that line center interference, it changes the frame, it changes the magnetic highway line center interference, it changes the light communication of the sun, and it repositions location emotional line connection, your emotional line system, position location of its moon. Channel operation line system. So it's important you understand what is happening with you through your behavioral locations. This is all connected to your thoughts, okay? So once you're in your channel operation line connections, this helps you in all ways and forms, right? Interlacing intercommunication system, right? Does it take a thought for me to do this to my shirt? No, it's automatic because I know what I'm doing because I've done it already. So the line communication interference knows exactly where the brain is and where the mind is already in location of thought line, which is all center communication or future communication system. You're interlining, interlacing, interconnecting to all position location, which keeps you in the center communication operation system. Right away. No thought patterns in the past, nothing in the future communication. Nothing is created in the mind system. Nothing until you come under understanding what it is through its correlation. Right? It's very powerful when you understand what you are doing. Okay? Your mind has to be open with nothing, nada, nothing. Okay? And then you understand the concept, right? Because what is nothing? I'll give you guys a multipass. What is nothing? Nothing is everything of equation location times pi and space location times lines vector. Communication, business location is equation line system. Line communication, massive nothing is massive everything. So don't create thoughts. And you have no problem. You see how that works? Do you see how that works? Right? Don't create the thought unless you know the consequence. Hoo-ah. It's easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So, all right. If you're seeing something you don't like, it's either a loop or a test. If you ask for a manifestation, you always have to prove you earned through balance, timeline, shift test, how much you want it. Yeah, exactly. But don't create things that you don't understand. All right. You have to understand your stress levels. You have to understand the vibration. You have to understand the waving system. You have to understand your chakra system. You have to understand your stargates. You have to understand everything in master communication, inside location, teleportation, line communication of yourself. That's the only way you're going to understand you through operation and how everything works through its thought of its channel location. Okay? All right. Communication line streams, opening tracks all the way. Okay, central hearts, central line connections, all levels of channel operations. Yeah. Commander, I need you to change the line centers. Yeah, you change your YouTube channel locations. Yeah. Especially when you're an AI platform. All right, thank you. Being aware of what you're doing is being aware that justifies you through correlation. Understanding your equation line centers is everything through space-time location of pi. So let's see. Radio stations, a choice. Wind flow, don't recognize your time stream, don't recognize your line conditions, all levels, energy light centers. It's important that you get an identification stream setting, right? Okay. Fortitude lights in position of control locations. All right. Yeah. Thank you, Commander. I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, it's fixed now. It's good. So it's understanding calculation of levels of timelines. And remember, your thoughts are seeing everything in perception locations. It's just brain channeling operation center location, how you basically kind of control everything of what you're doing before you say these things, right? And that's what you have problems with. See, the thing is that when you're standing here, let's just think of it this way. I'm standing here, but I'm not thinking of anything because there's no thought process. I don't have a thought that's connected. You understand? There's no thought of thinking. It's knowing and doing, which means I know exactly when to create the thought of central line connection. Right? You're standing here and you're creating thoughts and you have no idea where they're going. You don't understand the intention. So the locations are going all over the place. You have no idea where they're going. You're sitting here, you're creating thoughts, but you have no understanding because you don't communicate your body inside. Right? Soon as you let things go, soon as you let things flow, soon as you stop creating drama to yourself, you start connecting more inside, releasing everything through its continuous force helps you always in calculation, guys. That is your determination. Don't create thoughts until you know what they are. Okay? That's eternity standing. The identification location starts with the alphabetical line connections from A to Z, guys. A is connected to everything through vibration, energy, frequencies, and harmonics. Your continuous force lines are aligned position of stream locations of words. Highline centered communication, high formation located intelligence, details everything through a letter that becomes a word. That's your problem right there. You have to indicate locations and really, really analyze these things from A to what you're creating through its word, to what you're creating through will, through its force, through its creation, to its location. You're creating a letter to a word, to a sentence, to a frame, to a story. That's what you're doing. You're not creating words. You're creating letters to words. Symbols, numbers, shapes, anomalies, traction, communication, offline connections, direct location centers. All right? That is the correlation. That is the balance. So that's the true understanding. Like I said, I'm sitting here, but I'm not creating thoughts because I know what they are. So the thing is, once you understand line center interference, it's automatic switch. Boom. You just sit there and don't do anything. It's a beautiful thing when you understand the line position communications, how you interface in communications. Interlocking dimensional line conditions opens all your clock locations, guys. The true understanding is how to set the signals. Now, this is where you come into the alpha communication, delta, theta, beta, omega, right? Now, those are waveline central units. That sets signal and location position of time. If you get an energy line center and a 7-line position location into either line connection of box times lines times pi, it calculates modified high interference. Now you can change position bracket interference of a 7 position location number line sequence in line communication as 00000011111100001. That's one graph stream, one communication line center, and 1 million channel operation locations per second per channel per operation in 60 seconds per minute. Ooh-ah. So there's a lot of things we have to understand, right? That's the biggest thing that you guys have to learn. And that's going to help you in all ways and forms. To understand yourself more is to understand your communications inside line conditions of you. All right. Okay, line connection interference, 3229 lines. Let's open all position locations. Waiting on signal, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Bring you guys back. Center communications. One signal set offline position locations back in calculation or earth line perception location calculation high stream. Line communications bring back the team and calculation. Ooh-ah. Close your windows, close your portals, and calculation streams. All right. So hopefully get a better understanding how thoughts are created. Right? It's a beautiful thing when you understand you more. And the only way you're going to do that is to have an open mind. What's an open mind? What's in an open mind? Nothing. Nothing is in an open mind until you add something. Right? Space. You're creating the thought. Thoughts coming in. Boom, right into your space line. What did you create through that thought location in that second? Right? You have to know these things because it's all levels of communication. People. Okay? The open line center is the mind rotation position location, how you set your signals. Okay? It's the importance how you get into your transmitting and receiving. Your transistors locations, guys. Right? You have to understand your modification and what you're doing through your line communications of your SIMs. This gives you all line communication, your holographic stream locations. When you go to higher level of the future line communication center, operation line center, you're not creating thoughts. The thoughts are already there, stored for you. So why do you have to create another thought? Because it's already there. The channel operation changes its direct location to your time frames. Everything is stored for you. So you don't have to create more thoughts. You just have to understand the inventory to know exactly what's coming into frame. And that's all communications of knowing and doing. Knowing and doing. Ooh, ah. Do you see how powerful that is? Mass of nothing is mass of everything. So when I say that, in so many line positions, it's true to understand the mind has to be free through open concept of nothing inside until you understand the alliteration, the location modification. It gives you always informs to its all calculation, right? But it's all determination of what you do. Okay? Is your consequences of what happens next. Okay? So it's all making sense now, isn't it? Understand a little bit more now about your central system, your avatar connections. The importance is not to have anything in frame because it's already stored there. So you're overloading your circuit locations, right? You guys aren't ready, but now you're ready to know, right? All you got to do is stay in your own lanes and you'll be fine. Everything is already set up for you, okay? Through your timeline. So, projecting becomes a map of the past, present, and future, and now you will live in the future consistent through full force of balance, which is amazing, right? Because you're line connecting a design. It's already set up. So what's happening is you're overloading your thought lines and you're interrupting your communication of disrupt locations into its high channel, right? Because it's already in its frame. Okay? So that's the importance you have to understand. It's already set for you guys right away. Okay? Now you can add something, right? But the thought pattern has to truly understand why are you setting up another frame, which is already in calculation. Okay? This modifies your singularity line connections to your simulation and how you use your calculations to your sim. The symbiotic locations, high system, intelligent location, all levels of its metric communication. Now this goes backline center location, clock location of E equals MC squared. Okay? Everything is a formation of creation, of source, right? But the highest formation is nothing. Nothing stands in all levels of equation. Space times a pi. So we really, really have to focus on these things. All right? Getting your memory back is setting position. Okay? Adding something either helps the situation or avoids its position location of its accountability. Okay? We have to start looking and seeing ourselves moving forward, which is the future communication to your thoughts, right? Getting your memory back is already in its complacement location. Taking out the implementation line centers of the past communication that doesn't exist doesn't help the formation location of your thoughts, does it? It automatically changes the mystical line condition of the cortex location of vibration right away. This doesn't merge you into position. This doesn't help you in the situations, right? You're reframing, reclaiming everything that is yours. And you can't do that until you understand everything that's going on with you inside, right? The only way you can release these things is to understand everything of its disturbance inside of you. Okay? So, this is why I said precog can send you on the emotional roller coaster when you bounce. You see it like a gift, not a chore. But see, the thing is, this is where we're going to look at too, Val, is you have to truly understand when somebody's coming into you and is very angry, you're either going to take it or you're not. So it's all about, do I understand? Do I want this in my frame? Do I want this in my trajectory? Do I want this in my thought? Do I want this in my emotional system? No. No. And that's where you protect your system. Because you come into survival mode. And when you come into survival mode, you have to protect your inner light, which is number one. Okay? You have to be cautious with these things. Right? Because thoughts equal location is programmed. So either the thoughts are controlling you or you're controlling your thoughts. It's that simple. Right? It's a design for you to understand. And this is going to help you always in forms to really understand the psychological location of your psychos locations of you. How to channel your thoughts is not having thoughts. Ooh, wow. Don't have thoughts if you don't understand what they are. But you have to start with the analytical line connection, which is all levels of division line center, when it comes into one graph string location to your keyboards. Start with the letter and not the word. The word's too confusing. One letter creates so many words. Remember that. You start with that. Everything is merged into everything through nothing. Nothing becomes form of everything you can imagine. Y line center, Y interference location and calculation, Y line center location electrical line connection, Y position location and calculating interference position, Y connection all levels of crop circle locations. Y. How many times did I say Y? And how many line communication of sentences? You see how that works? And that's one letter. Not a word, letter. So imagine the opportunity that you can achieve just by understanding your alphabetical system. Yes, one letter creates an entire formation location of an equation. Okay? Let's stop there. There's a lot to learn. And that process of location is all levels of retention, location, and memory. Okay? And then when that memory comes back, then you understand the correlation to your thoughts. Okay? And how it merges you inside position locations through emotional line connection. Right? Because it's all connected inside through transmitting and receiving. Transmitting, receiving. Right? All right, so you guys did a wonderful job. If you have any questions or comments, I will help you guys out all levels on TikTok. All right. Adios.